What is going on, Dingoos? I hope you're having a fantastic day. Welcome to the DeFi DEGEN podcast number freaking 10. I can't believe we're already number 10. How do you feel about that?
Let's go.
Ian?
This is a big moment right now.
Double digits. We're in double digit territory, guys. And we're getting better every single week. We're going to continue to improve. I mean, well, it just takes a long time. One step at a time, continuing to grind. And I mean, if you have any feedback, go to the exclusive Discord or just the normal Discord and shoot it in there. We would appreciate any feedback y'all have for us, or even the comment of this video. Shoot a comment. Tell us what you would like to see, some things we're missing, etc., because we're trying our best. And obviously, we don't know what we don't know. But anyways, let's get this party started. It's been an eventful week, a lot of news. The market's down, unfortunately. Before we get into it, let's take a look at the market. Can you see those? Can you see that, Ian?
Yeah. It looks good.
All right. Yeah, so it's not looking the greatest. It's not the greatest of weeks except for Luna, which is tough. It's tough. Dang, man. A lot of projects just absolutely in the shitter this week. But then there's Yearn Finance. And then there's a couple projects absolutely in the green. And then let's look at the losers. Gala. ICP has been getting wrecked since they freaking did it. They launched. They've been getting absolutely demolished ever since their launch. I mean, it definitely could be entering an accumulation phase in terms of dollar cost average into ICP. I mean, it's a good project. It's a good project. We'll see what happens. Any opinions? ID?
No, I mean it makes sense. There's still a ton of volatility. But we were just talking before we started the podcast that UST flip die, which
yeah.
Pretty big moment. UST is we're going to talk about UST a little bit later in the newsletter, but that's actually a pretty big moment. It's definitely gaining a lot of steam.
So do you think the primary reason for this is Anchor protocol and people just basically staking in Anchor?
Yeah, that's like the big thing, because basically they're making Anchor interoperable with other chains so you can port the yield to different applications. So I think that's definitely a big factor for sure.
You know what else I'm surprised is how bad Phantom has been performing lately. I think Phantom is undervalued. 133. It's pretty close. I mean, it probably should be 3/4 of the valuation of Avalanche, in my opinion. But we'll see. I might start accumulating some Phantom. I like Phantom a lot.
How's AVAX been doing? AVAX has been doing pretty well.
AVAX bounced back from that dip. It was up at like 40% at one point, but now it's back down. But it's at a $1 billion market cap. Phantom is at let's see here, only 225 mil. So, I mean, it could definitely run a little bit depending on the entire market as a whole. But anyways, let's get this party started. Today, we're going to be talking about crypto news like we always do. The best risk management strategy written by ID. And will a prolonged bear market result in a lower stablecoin yield? Liquidity Mining 2.0. So those are the topics we're going to be covering today. And it's Christmas week. So Merry Christmas. Have a blessed Christmas. It's another year. We're going into another year, another crazy year for crypto, undoubtedly. We will all make it, especially if y'all subbed here. We'll continue to pump out these newsletters. A year from now, we'll be on our 60-second newsletter. How do you feel about that, Ian?
That's awesome. Let's do it.
A year from now, 62 newsletters deep, hopefully with a lot of improvements and just building the Dingooo community out. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully some merch. Yeah. We definitely are doing some merch, and I think you guys might want one of these shirts. I would want one of those shirts.
I saw Danny tweeted that picture, and he added Vitalik, and he was like, "Are you a frog?"
Ooh, okay, I see that. All right, yeah, for sure. But anyways, let's get this started with the Polkadot parachains have gone live for the first time. I mean, the five parachains that won were Akala, Moonbeam, A-Star, Parallel Finance, and Clover. there's going to be 6 parachains selected after the following parachain auction, which starts the 23rd of December. If you want to participate, go to Parallel Finance. If you're in the United States, some projects you can't participate depending on the team and how they want to go about it, because some of the regulations in the United States, like for example, Moonbeam, it was almost nearly impossible, and I was unable to participate in Moonbeam. Why? Because Moonbeam's restrictions, and I could not get around them. I could not find a way around them. But I did participate in Akala, A-Star, Parallel Finance. I did not participate in Clover, but we'll see what happens with that. I'm excited for Polkadot. Kusama's still pumping out parachains. This will be a huge development over the next year, but we will see. Any opinions on the Polkadot parachains? I don't think you participated. Did you, Ian?
No, I didn't. Is Moonbeam related to Moon River?
Yeah, so Moon River is the same thing as Moonbeam, just Moonbeam is on the Polkadot in the Polkadot ecosystem rather than the Kusama ecosystem.
Right, got it. Cool.
So,
yeah, well, it'd be interesting to see how so you participate in the crowd loans for Akala, A-Star, Parallel. It'll be interesting to see how that changes over time.
Yeah, so my Polkadot, I did 500 Polkadot, and they're locked up for 5 years now.
Hey, that's awesome, man.
So we'll see what fucking happens. Hopefully in 5 years, first of all, I'm still alive doing well. But second of all, Polkadot's at $1,000 a piece. 5 years, that's
doable.
$500,000. I'll take that in 5 years, unless inflation's at 30%. That would suck. But anyways, talking about inflation rate. So Jerome Powell had his meeting, his I don't know what exactly they call it, but just their press conference. Probably the Fed press conference, and people like to interpret what he says to the intentions of the Fed or the central bank and what they plan on doing with interest rates and bond buying, along with just the balance sheet of this the Fed. But anyways, will the interest rate go up? It didn't this time, but they are tapering purchasing of bonds. And basically, if we look at this little graph right here, here's the judgment, or the each square represents one Fed official's judgment. So by the end of 22, two officials expected above 1% interest rate, and a lot of people expected right below. But I think there's a reason for them to put this expectation out there, even though deep down they don't believe it. I think deep down they know what's going to happen. Either we're going to go negative interest rates. In my opinion, we're going to go negative or stay low, unless inflation really, really takes off, like to high teens, low 20s. Then we'll see interest rates pick up and kind of try to slow down inflation. But if it stays around 7, 8, 9%, I think we might they might not raise interest rates. What do you think? Do you agree or disagree with me? Because honestly, my points.
I agree on your point with Fed guidance, because that's insanely important. People literally analyze the specific verbiage that they use to figure out what rates are going to be. So based off of people's expectations, that can really move markets. So they do have to play that game. So who knows where it could end up. But yeah, it's really tough right now because there's so much inflation, but also, you have Omicron and these other things that could cause issues. So I think honestly, we're probably going to have to see like what effects Omicron has on the economy, and that'll influence more of their decisions as it goes on, I think.
I mean, COVID's at all-time highs right now, Ian. Like
crazy. It kind of feels like March, dude. I'm in New York City, and there's lines out the clinics for blocks, and it's just people trying to get tests, and it's absolutely.
Are you working from home again, or?
Yes, yeah. I was sick last week, but yeah, I'm probably gonna work from home this entire week as well.
Damn. So are they not making you come in the office?
I think we're probably still, after this, we're probably still going to do 3 days a week.
I see. I see. But anyways, moving on. That's what Powell did say, though. The rise of COVID cases in recent weeks, along with the emergence of the Omicron variant poses risks to the outlook, which means there's a variable in this judgment. Like this is an excuse to keep interest rates low. Anyways, Ray Dalio now owns Ethereum along with his Bitcoin over the course of the last year, since last November, stating in early November that he was not a fan of Bitcoin or crypto at all. And then over the course of the last year, he has developed his viewpoint on crypto from not liking it to owning a decent amount of Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think he's going through the evolution that everybody goes in. So he's going down the rabbit hole. Literally every single person that has gotten in crypto goes down the same exact rabbit hole. I swear to God. So what altcoin is he buying next, Ian? That's the question.
Who knows? But yeah, this is a big moment for me too, because obviously I was in traditional finance before I ever even knew about DeFi, and he wrote the book Principles, which is really just like an operating manual on like how to think properly. So if he and I give him a lot of credit too, because he went back on what he said, right? He doesn't have a big ego. He's not like Jamie Dimon, I feel like, is just going to die just saying, he doesn't like crypto and Bitcoin, and it's just because he's already had that position before. So this is definitely makes me feel a lot, as if I didn't need any more confirmation, but this definitely gives
right. Let's go ahead and see what he says. Oh my Lord. How many?
You told CoinDesk you own some, even though you use currencies. And what do you think the outlook is for them now?
Well, I'm not going to give the precise amount of Bitcoin, and that I do own some Ethereum as well. But the answer to your question is that I don't own a lot of it. I view it as an alternative money in a environment.
Does he look well, Ian?
He's old. He's an old guy.
I was about to say, man, he does not look well.
Where the value of cash money is depreciating in real terms. And I think it's very impressive that for the last 10, 11 years, that programming has still held up. It hasn't been hacked and so on, and it has an adoption rate. So I'm very big on diversification, and it's a relatively small part of the portfolio. I would like to say that cash, I've been quoted, cash is trash, cash, which most investors think is the safest investment, is, I think, the worst investment, and that it's important because it loses buying power. The one thing I would say to investors is don't judge anything in your returns or your assets in nominal terms, in terms of how many dollars you have.
Hey, speaking on that, it's a red day, but we are comparing it to the U.S. dollar.
Yeah.
So it's a red day compared to the U.S. dollar, but
it could be decreasing less than the U.S.
dollar. Right. So if we go ahead and click Ethereum and price it against Bitcoin, rather than, if we can do that, I know you can do that. Let's see here. Let's see what's happening against Bitcoin. So hey, and then we're down against Bitcoin. But overall, we're up, dude. As last 180 days last year, we're up. That's a pretty good chart right there. I'll take that chart in Bitcoin terms.
Can't complain.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But let's move on to the best risk management strategy, aka Ian's best risk management strategy. Let's hear it, boy.
Yeah, so this is a kind of a catchy title, but it's basically investing in the strongest fundamental assets, despite all of the hype, right? So certain coins are going to have their day in the light, and we just saw Luna, right? They're reaching all-time highs. Now, how could you have seen this coming? Well, Luna is super strong fundamentally and has been for a while. So if you had just had the conviction of, okay, this is going to be a long-term hold for me, then you would have done really well. You would have been able to experience those gains, even despite the rest of the market kind of dumping. And I just want to touch on Luna really quickly, just to see, so you guys can see kind of the narrative behind it and everything, right? So I think we've talked about this in a past newsletter, but Luna is directly linked to the adoption of UST. So as more people pile into UST, the market cap of UST grows, the value of Luna increases. And with Columbus 5 mainnet upgrade, it's more directly linked. So more Luna is burned as more UST is adopted. So what's really interesting is you can kind of think of Luna as a broader bet on DeFi, because UST is on all these other chains at this point. So once all these other blockchain ecosystems grow, their demand for stable coins and UST is going to grow as well, which will grow Luna. And it's also kind of defensible to market corrections, because investors will pile into stable coins, and one of the stable coins that they'll use is UST, specifically because of Anchor. Anchor offers 20% on deposits. It's very popular. And it's just like a very simple user interface, right? You literally just click a couple buttons and you're, earning 20% on your stable coin. So yeah, honestly, that's you can do all of these complex things and, figure out the best way to manage your risk, but just investing in simply like the best fundamental long-term investments is a great risk management strategy, and just hold it for 5-10 years and
hold it, right? Like through these market corrections, it's tough, man. If you believe in something, the hardest thing to do is continue to believe in it when you're up significantly and hold it through. Well, it's not the hardest thing to do, but if you go down on a position, it's tough. It's tough to hold.
And it's really hard in crypto because it feels like everything is just so fast, and like you can really get caught up with everyone else and like all the price movements. But if you can be more patient, that's a competitive advantage.
Ooh, I like that. Put that on a t-shirt. Patience. Patience is a competitive advantage. I like that a lot. I think that's true. So Ray Dalio, we got was that it for your best risk management strategy? Just basically invest in projects you're high conviction on and hold that sucker.
100%.
Dude, I like that risk management strategy because that's my strategy. But anyways, let's move on. Best reads this week: Ray Dalio, Morgan Stanley. We got NFTs, Wiki's first edit. Adidas launches their NFT. Adidas NFT has been sucking ass. And I have something, but I mean, that's not a reason not to read the article, but I have something to show you later on.
I think I know what you're going to show me, but
all right. Well, we'll see. Anyways, moving on to stablecoin yields in the bear market and in a prolonged bear market. If you guys are new to the crypto space, DeFi has really only been around for probably just about 2 years now. And 2 years ago, it was very, very, very new. And like MakerDAO was just 6% APY on DAI, right? That's all there was. And then there was yield farms like Sushi Swap, and then a couple other DeFi yield farms like Yearn came out, and a couple other ones, Uniswap LPing. And then it kind of was a domino effect from there. But anyways, now you can see stablecoin yields. If you go watch my YouTube channel, I mean, I pretty much preach 30 to 40% APY on a lot of stables. You can do that relatively easily. But will this go down, or is it able to sustain itself in a bear market? In my personal opinion, most of the yields will go down significantly, but I want to just read my conclusion here. Basically, DeFi has been around for a year and a half, and it's extremely fast at innovating. If we enter a bear market, I think the innovation variable will outweigh the lower volume on DEXs, which is a primary revenue generator, along with what volume and what's the other way they generate revenue. There's a lot of ways they generate revenue, but strategies. let's see here. Swapping tokens and loans. That's why I don't remember it, because that's kind of an insignificant thing. Basically, most of the yields are generated by volume on DEXs. And just that's how they generate revenue. They provide a financial service. But if volume goes down significantly in a prolonged bear market, yes, we'll see a drop. But I do think innovation in DeFi protocols will overcome that and outweigh that factor single-handedly. So we'll see what happens. But I do think we'll see stablecoin yields in the bear market 10 to 20%. I think that's what's going to happen in the bear market. You'll see stablecoin yields 10 to 20%, maybe low 20s. Any opinion on that, Ian?
I really like the point about innovating, and I've been really curious about what the bear market is going to look like, what crypto winter is going to look like, because I know after 2017, like a lot of people lost interest in crypto. I don't think it's going to be the same, but I'm wondering to what magnitude people will kind of forget about crypto. But I know the real builders will stay in the space and keep innovating. So that'll be interesting to see.
Right. And that's going to be a great time to weed out the shitty projects with the good and the great projects, right? Because
yeah,
there was a bunch of DeFi white papers in 2017 and 2018, but there was no DeFi applications yet. It was all white papers. And then throughout the bear market, you actually saw the ones that decided to continue to build and continue to develop. And those are the ones that, like Uniswap, Yearn Finance, Bancor, there's a lot of them that are the OG DeFi protocols that have done well. And the same thing will happen in this bear market, specifically with NFTs, play to earn games, and DeFi, I guess. But we'll see what happens. And Wonderland, did you know Wonderland has a $700 billion market cap? According to our newsletter. It's 700 million, not billion. So we'll fix that. But anyways, Liquidity Mining 2.0. Oh, this is the last article. So before we get into this, we got Let's React. We are reacting to, first of all, this survey. I'm not going to say anything to preempt this, but I just want your opinion. Right?
Okay.
All right, let's watch.
Let's do it.
It's going to be an ad.
At Fidelity, your dedicated advisor will help you create a comprehensive wealth plan for your
11 seconds.
financial picture. With the right balance.
Thank God. Paywalls are getting worse, bro. Paywalls are getting worse. No more cookies on websites. Oops.
Members of the Millionaire Club have a hefty portion of their wealth in crypto.
Okay, they're talking about Millennial Millionaires.
Okay.
Details. Hey, Robert.
Hey, Tyler, more than 80% of millennial millionaires, they own crypto. But what's more surprising is just how much they own. According to the CNBC Millionaire Survey, more than half of millennial millionaires have at least 50% of their wealth in crypto. Nearly a third of them have 75%.
So who do you think they're surveying?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, how do they get that?
Are they? I bet you there's a lot of millennial millionaires off of crypto.
That's what I was thinking too. It's not that they're invested into crypto after making their money somewhere else. It's probably a lot of them made their money through crypto.
They didn't fucking survey me, bro. The hell, dude. Frick, bro. Come on. They're not doing their research.
Or more of their wealth in crypto. Compare that with baby boomers. Only 4% of boomers have any crypto. Now, the numbers suggest that crypto is not only an investment, but also the main source of
this is funny right here.
Wealth for many millennial millionaires, and they plan to buy even more. About half of them planning to add to their crypto investments over the next 12 months. Only 6% planning to reduce their crypto holdings. Now, millennial millionaires are bullish on other investments as well. Most plan to add to their equities next year. They had the highest forecast of any generation on the economy, interest rates, and inflation. So, Tyler, they like everything right now, and they want more of it. Back to you.
They are fucking sending it. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'd be curious to see how they got that data, but it makes sense. I mean, when you're younger, you just have less biases and and crypto's
I
a
bet.
big opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. Crypto's a great opportunity, but I think they just have a lower risk tolerance. So, and they kind of just want to send it. But anyways, this is what I'm about to show you. This is Adidas sells 23 million in NFTs and suggests we call Ethereum for support. So here we go. Thank you for contacting Adidas chat support. I understand that you are contacting about the NFT. I would highly suggest for you to contact NFT support so they can check and fix the issue in your wallet. Should I call Ethereum? Misspells it. Yes, since we do not have access to your NFT account. What do you think about that?
I saw that on Twitter. I figured you were going to show this. It is super funny, but that's definitely like Adidas just hired like help chat. I think the people in charge of it are more knowledgeable, but that's just like their help desk person,
Yeah, you're probably right. But at the same time, I like to make fun of that,
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see. I want to show you the rankings. So Adidas is down 44% since they launched.
Ooh.
2.77. We'll see what happens with it. I'm interested. Obviously, it would be dope to have Bored Ape Yacht Clubs on your sneaks or something. So, I mean, NFT merch is definitely going to be a thing, guys. So we'll see what happens with that.
Thing, though, like, what if you have like Bored Ape Yacht Club merch, and then you sell your Bored Ape Yacht Club? You can't really wear your merch
Digital,
now. Like,
it's going to be tough, obviously, to bring. It's going to have to be like digitally verified somehow, and obviously, if you don't have it, it's kind of embarrassing, too.
Yeah, it's kind of like fake,
right?
Designers, stuff like that. I don't know.
So here is a reminder that DeFi is dangerous. So is centralized. Like Bitmart just had a huge exploit, but a timely reminder not to put too many eggs in one basket, especially when the basket is called Grim Finance. Grim Finance had a exploit. I think it was around 30 million. And this guy, I just lost everything on Grim Finance. So wow. Just be careful out there. Grim is a fork of Beefy. So obviously Beefy is I don't think Beefy is a fork of anything. And if you invest in something, make sure it's the original. Like forks are tough because the people that fork the code are not as talented as the original devs, right? They fork it. They're not as talented. They might not even be devs whatsoever. And now they're handling millions and millions of dollars of total value locked. So just be careful with that, because one thing to look into, make sure it's original. The devs, it's not a fork. It's original. And I think that provides a level of security because the devs are more talented and can.
Yeah. It's surprisingly easy to fork. It's literally copying and pasting.
Right.
It's so easy. So that's you need developers who can actually ship their own code.
Yep, absolutely. And now so if you think the world doesn't need Bitcoin, ask someone in Turkey about it. Minus 90% in 9 years against the US dollar. And this is recently, right? This is recently.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I mean, the US dollar's losing value
as well.
Wow.
So, I mean, if I bet you know what has a similar chart to this right here?
What's that?
US dollar Bitcoin.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. It just feels inflation and devaluation of a currency absolutely destroys it. Like all Turkey's civilians are absolutely destroyed right now. I mean, it's terrible to see. It's terrible. And now let's move into one of my old Reddit posts, okay? This was 4 years ago. I said, Ucash, LOL, and see what happens. They are still posting on Twitter regularly, so I still believe in the project. Maybe a random crazy pump in the next year. What y'all think? Nobody answered me. Probably rightfully so.
Yeah, that's so funny.
I upvoted myself, but nobody answered me. And the reason why I said this, Ucash was the number 3 largest market cap token for a split second.
That's crazy.
So it spiked up. It was number 3 for like a couple days, right? And then it crashed. And let's look at its chart.
Oh.
So let's go ahead and go max.
Oh my god.
This is when it went.
Wow. That's crazy.
Hey, but I was
right, a little pump right there, July 18, you know?
Yeah, something around. This little pump right here, dude. But yeah,
so funny.
the market cap is currently $1 million, and I probably still have my $20 that I had in there in there. So that sucks. But it is what it is. I don't know if I ever bought it, but anyways, this was back in January of 2020, going back in my old Reddit posting days. And at the time I did not know this was DC Investor. And you know who DC Investor is?
No.
He's the owner of this CryptoPunk, which is worth about $8-9 million. But 2 years ago, I did not know this was DC Investor that responded to this. It was just some random dude on Reddit. So Kobe Bryant died. Coronavirus is escalating. Stock market crashing this week. Man, it is hard not to fearmonger right now. I was just in my feelings because Kobe died, and it was sad. Kobe. When I found out he was dead, I mean, I was like, "Fuck, dude, that's tough." But he says, "Yet here you are, trying to do it anywhere in a bleak sort of way." Yep, you're right. Kobe's death is tragic, but an accident isolated from basically anything else on the planet. Not to me, DC. Not to me. It was everything. Coronavirus situation is serious, but not yet a stage of global pandemic. Definitely worth keeping an eye on, though. This was in January before March crash. And there could indeed be more severe consequences if this situation worsens. It is not a scenario without global precedent, though. We are far from the end of days here. Stock market will react however they want it to, but markets aren't always logical. I doubt coronavirus is going to be the trigger which sends what may perceive as a overdrawn stock market into a what she was wrong there. This may or may not happen in the near future. Well, indecisive. Be very selective. Be selective on what news you consume. Yep, he's right there. And then some comments. I got -12 on this one. A lot of people didn't like my negativity, but
I like what he said. People are actively trying to hack your mind and emotions for money.
Oh yeah,
it's so true. Because if you've watched Social Dilemma, basically they're all trying to create algorithms to keep you on their platforms longer and kind of riling up your emotions does that effectively. So it's crazy.
Yeah, I totally agree. But this guy agreed with me about Kobe. Kobe has inspired plenty of people throughout life to strive for greatness, sports or not. He inspired me for my job when I had to work 28 days in a row. But all these people are probably doing what he probably quit his job if he knew what he was doing. But anyways, let's go back to the newsletter and go through the final article for today, and that is Liquidity Mining 2.0. Let's go.
Let's do it. Yeah. So we talked a little bit about Olympus DAO and other DeFi 2.0 projects before that are making a lot of headway towards kind of restructuring how liquidity is distributed across protocols. And there's going to continue to be a ton of innovation in this space. One innovation is called Liquidity Mining 2.0, right? And there's a few protocols that have done this, but basically it's this idea of KPI options, which kind of sounds complex, but it's a pretty simple idea. So KPI means key performance indicator. So that can be a number of different things, right? It could be TVL, it could be volume, it could be whatever metric you want to use that kind of represents the overall health of the protocol. So let's say, we had I use this example in the newsletter. Let's say we have an NFT exchange, right? And we want to hit a certain amount of volume. Instead of rewarding farmers or liquidity providers with our governance token, making it super inflationary and just, making the liquidity providers not have aligned incentives with the protocol, we can give them an option. We send them a token and we say, okay, if we hit 1 million in volume, then you'll get this amount of rewards of the token. So now the liquidity providers, they want the protocol to succeed, right? They might even start contributing to the project to help it grow because they are going to get those rewards. So this is another way, because, before it was all mercenary capital. They're just there for the rewards. They'll dump and they'll move on. But this way it aligns the incentives a little bit better. So there's a few protocols that have started to do this. So, those will be some good proof of concepts to keep in mind to see if this actually works. Barn bridge, yield enhancement. Yeah, it's really interesting. There's going to be a ton of other innovations in this space, but this one I thought was really cool.
Yeah, this is actually very, very cool. I think you think they're inspired by like how the CEO kind of gets a option for payment.
Yeah, no, it's the same idea, right? You give management options, and they're more incentivized to grow a company or grow a protocol. Same way here, because ultimately, in DeFi, the community is way more intertwined with a protocol's success, and liquidity providers are extremely important to a protocol. So it makes sense to incentivize them and link them with the protocol like this.
Totally agree. I'm going to check out B Protocol. I haven't checked it out yet. But that is all for today. I appreciate each and every one of you guys tuning in. If you haven't already, go ahead and join the exclusive Discord. We're going to build that up. Drop some merch. If you're a newsletter subscriber, once we drop merch, you'll have a discount because you're a subscriber. So that is it. Anything else, ID, for today? Happy Monday. Merry Christmas.
No. Yeah. Happy holidays to everyone. And I think that's it. I think we'll see everyone next week.
Absolutely. And have a good one. Peace out till next time.
Peace out.